Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal, rahmatullah alayh, he once had a vision, a dream, he conversed with Allaah Ta. There were several occasions of this nature. The reality of that, only he knows what he experienced. But in some form, there was a conversation. This was an inspiration in his heart. Allah knows best the reality of how this took place. But in any case, the details that have been mentioned about this incident in the kitabs. So one of the things that's mentioned there is that in that he asked the question, that how do I get close to you? How do I get close to you? This was the question he asked. The answer that he was given is, Da' nafsaka wa ta'al. That leave aside your nafs and you're already there. You can come away. In other words, the only barrier that gets really left between getting close to Allah Ta'ala, between insan and getting close to Allah Ta'ala, is his nafs. Not even really Shaytan. Shaytan is very weak. If a person has strengthened himself, then inna kayda shaytani kana da'ifa. Allah Ta'ala says that the plots of Shaytan are very weak. But the person's own nafs, that becomes even more difficult and more stronger against him than Shaytan. Before Shaytan became Shaytan, there was no other Iblis. But what became the means of his downfall was his own nafs. So his nafs deceived him, put him into a state of pride and arrogance and haughtiness, and that became the means of his downfall. So this nafs becomes the barrier. Person has learned to suppress that nafs, and the more he keeps suppressing it, the more his ruh becomes stronger against it. And the more he gives in to the temptations of the nafs, then the more the nafs becomes stronger and the ruh becomes weaker. Now when there's a clash, there's something that he's trying to avert, because now the nafs is pulling in a certain direction, the ruh is too weak to prevent him, to stop him from going in that direction, from getting caught up in the trap of the nafs. So the entire thing comes down to suppressing the nafs, learning how to suppress the desires of the nafs and not giving into it. Person who has achieved this, the road is open for him. Like in this incident, the answer that was given was, Da' nafsaka wa ta'al. That you put your nafs aside, trample the nafs, and you're already there. The next step you are there. So this is the entire process that we have to keep putting ourselves through. That keep reminding ourselves of this, keep putting ourselves through that mujahadah. That mujahadah is there, there's no doubt about it. But the more the person makes that mujahadah, like that mujahadah for something physical, the person is picking up weights. He initially can't pick up 20 kilos, but then he carries on making that mujahadah. That's all it is about, mujahadah. By training and continuous training and picking up more weights, in a short time he's picking up 50 kilos without any difficulty. He first couldn't pick up 20 kilos properly also. So now where that strength came from? That strength came only from that mujahadah, from that training. So likewise, this is a training. It's this weight of the pressure of the nafs that he starts preparing himself to carry. So now he's repeatedly carrying that pressure of the nafs. That becomes easier to carry. It becomes lighter. Though the weight is the same, but for him it feels very light. And he is able to carry a greater weight. The entire process is mujahadah. وَالَّذِينَ جَاهَدُوا فِينَا لَنَهْدِيَنَّهُمْ سُبُلَنَا.
अल्लाह अल्लाह कैसा प्यारा नाम है, आशिकों का मीना और जाम है।